Hey guys, my name's Gloria and welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about Halloween movies. I want to talk about some spooky movies that I think are great to watch around Halloween but all year round as well. Movies are another one of my great loves. I watch movies constantly. I'll watch multiple a day if I have the time. But these are just a few movies that I think more people should watch. I think some people overlook them sometimes, and there's a couple in there that I was quite surprised at myself. So these are not the best horror movies ever, and they're not even my top list of movies, but they're just movies that I think are great. And if I walked into a house and someone said, hey, we're gonna watch any of these movies, I'll be like, sweet, pass the popcorn. So you can see in the background here I have my lovely Nancy and my lovely Reagan. These are digital art that was created by Oh Golly Miss Dolly. She is a pin-up and a baker and a creator of cool things. You can find her on Instagram if you like. Nancy really does freak me out sometimes. Reagan's a little bit dark, but it suits, you know. So I'm going to be looking at my laptop for my notes here, but let's get into it. So the first movie, of course, is an Irish movie, and this, I didn't just pick this because part of it was filmed in my hometown. I also picked it because it's a really good movie. I was watching it kind of expecting it to be not great, but it is fantastic. It's called Grabbers, and it was partly filmed in my hometown, partly filmed around Donegal and a little bit in Belfast, I think. The pub, which is the main space, the main setting for the entire movie, is actually called the Hair of the Dog, and it was just this closed down pub down by the pier. It's weird seeing it in the movie because they've cleaned it up inside, but they've also superimposed loads of mountains behind it, which is very bizarre because there are no mountains there, but it revolves around this small community, and they find these strange creatures washed up on the beach, and these creatures more and more start to come. They start to attack people, and in true Irish fashion, people realize that these things don't like attacking drunk people. They don't like eating drunk people. So everybody gets drunk. Half of them were drunk to begin with, let's be honest, but they all hole up in this pub and down by the water, of course, and they have to try and figure out a way to fight off these creatures while they're pissed out of their minds. So it is kind of funny. I really liked it. Brona Gallagher's in it. You may know her from such movies as, she was in Star Wars, she was also in Pulp Fiction, she's been in loads of different things. If you're Irish, you might know her from The Commitments, which is a very famous Irish movie. But this one it's very funny. The creatures and the CGI are actually really good for the time that it came out, and the creatures they're weird sort of octopus things with a lot of tentacles, and I just really like it, and I think more people should watch it. Movie number 2, these are no particular order by the way. Movie number 2 is It Follows. So people have mixed reviews of this one, but It Follows is basically about a sexually transmitted demon. That's the gist of it. So it begins with a late teenage girl who's been going on a few dates with this new guy. She really likes him. She goes on another date with him, and they go off and have sex. Cool. But almost immediately after, he knocks her unconscious and ties her to a chair. Not cool, but he does this for a reason. He knows that she's not going to believe what he has to tell her. She has to see it for herself, and he transmitted this demon from someone else that he slept with, and now he's trying to pass it on. So this is a demon that literally does what it says in the tin. It follows you. It will relentlessly follow you. It will never stop walking towards you, and sure, it's walking, but it never stops. And he shows this demon to her. She kind of sort of believes it, and he's passing it on to her. If the demon kills her, it will get passed back to him, so he wants her to shove it off onto someone else and get as far away from him as possible. He eventually just throws her back at her house in her underwear because he's just this weak guy, and her and her small group of friends have to first figure out what the hell is going on, where this started. They have to figure out how to protect her, and eventually have to figure out how to fight this thing. And this is a movie that I can't really rewatch too often because it genuinely just freaks me the hell out. When I first watched this, it was just, it's just the slow consistency of it. It's just always coming towards you, and there's nothing you can do. It's always going to come after you. It's like the way that humans used to hunt animals in the wild. That's why we were able to bring down elephants and mammoths and whatnot, because we would just wear them out, we would tire them out. They were always faster than us, but we had the stamina to go after them. And anytime I just see strange figures off in the distance, either coming towards me or just standing out there, it always kind of freaks me out a little bit. So It Follows is a creepy one for me. The tall man coming through the hallway, absolutely hate that scene, freaks me out way too much. But I would definitely recommend this one. I really enjoyed it, and I will watch it again, but I just don't watch it very often. Number 3 is one that I made my housemate and my boyfriend watch recently. They were skeptical at first, but it's just a love of mine. I think I saw it when I was like 8 or 9 or something. It's called The Faculty. It stars Elijah Wood. It stars Famke Janssen, I have never known her name, but I have always known her face, and that is her real name. And it also stars Josh Hartnett and Usher for some strange reason. It's also got the T-1000 from Terminator 2 in it. He's a weird football coach in this. It's very odd, but this tells the story of a typical crappy American high school. You've got the jocks, you've got the goths, you've got the cool mean girl, you've got the nerdy guy, you've got the guy who sells drugs but he's secretly a genius. So the nerdy guy finds some sort of a bug or something out on the football field, and he brings it to his teacher, Jon Stewart, who tells him it's a new species, and it comes alive when they put it in water. And very quickly the whole faculty of the school is starting to act very strange. Nobody's arguing the way that they used to. Things are getting done very weird, and there are just shipments and shipments of water coming in. Everyone is just real damn thirsty for some reason, and this band of misfits has to try and figure out what the hell's going on and how to not become a weird water drinking person themselves. There's quite good CGI for the time actually, and there's some really good physical effects as well, which are creepy. I just think it's a good laugh, it's a good romp, and there's some creepy sci-fi shit going on there as well, so I would definitely check that one out if you haven't seen it. Next up is a movie which, when I was writing down some notes for this, I basically convinced myself to rewatch it again tonight because I haven't seen it in a while. It's The Exorcism of Emily Rose. So I do love exorcism movies. I've always loved the idea of demon possessions and exorcisms and stuff, and this is definitely one of my favourite exorcism movies. So it is loosely based on a true story of a German woman called Anneliese Michael, and she sadly died after her 67th exorcism session. 67th. And the priests actually ended up in court, and they had to play the recordings of her voice and whatnot in court, and they were actually sort of prosecuted for her wrongful death. And this is an Americanized version, but it follows the same story of a priest being brought to court because someone he was giving an exorcism to has died, and it's sort of going through Emily Rose's story of what exactly happened to her, and it's just a creepy movie. There are some real unsettling moments for it, real kind of shockers for me at the time. There's great visuals in it. The actor who played Emily Rose is just fantastic in it. Her physicality in the role is great, and it's just one of my favourite exorcism movies, and I think a lot more people should watch it. Okay, my camera stopped working and then my Dauphinoise were ready, so took a little bit of a break. If I look any different, that's why. Next up is an absolute favourite of mine. I remember watching it a lot with my sisters when I was younger. And it is the 1999 version, not the 1959 version with Vincent Price, although that is also a good movie. But this is The House on Haunted Hill. So a bunch of strangers are invited to this house that used to be an asylum and is now supposedly haunted by the patients who were tortured there and the crazy doctors and nurses and whatnot who tortured them. And all of these guests are asked to come along. They are also promised some money if they can last the night in the house. But very quickly the house turns on them and they are stuck inside with the ghosts in the walls. And this is a classic late 90s movie. It is over the top. There are angles, there are buckets of blood, there's just weirdness and ridiculousness, but we have Jeffrey Rush. I think Jeffrey Rush really keeps the movie going. I love his character in it, and it's ridiculous. It's got a great soundtrack as well, I have to say. I have always loved the music in that movie, and it's just a good, rollicking good fun of watching people get murdered, so why not? So it's definitely one of my favourites if you're looking for something not too serious, not too complicated or anything. You should definitely check out that one. Next up is The Witch. This was the first place that I saw Anya Taylor-Joy, who is doing a lot of work right now, and I really like her acting. So The Witch is based back in Puritan times when the English first started to colonize America, and it's basically the story of a family who are Puritans and they think the other Puritans aren't Puritan enough, so they go off by themselves to try and avoid all the sins they believe are happening back there. And this is literally a family going off trying to build their own house in the absolute wilderness of somewhere in America and trying to live by themselves. It's all about isolation and the desperation that they feel. Very quickly things start to go wrong with the animals, with trying to hunt, and with everything around their young baby. When she's being looked after by the teenage daughter, goes missing inexplicably, and of course she is accused of witchcraft because I guess Occam's razor, you know, it's the most likely thing is probably what's happening, you know. So she starts being accused of witchcraft by her two little siblings who I just wanted to strangle for the entire movie, and everyone just starts to turn on her, which is just really unfortunate. There are some great horrific visuals in this movie. It's dark, it's bleak, it's desperate, and you feel for the family, but you get really irritated as well, and it really puts teenage rebellion into perspective. I think it's funny because the director of this movie says that he can't stand watching horror movies. He doesn't like horror movies because they freak him out, and this one definitely has some freaky parts in it. So if you like witches, if you're into the devil and demons and whatnot, I would give this one a look. And speaking of Anya Taylor-Joy, another one that I absolutely love, I'm not sure if this is classed as a horror movie, but I think it's still a great movie to watch, is Split. Split is a sequel to an older 90s movie called Unbroken? It's called Unbroken? But it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, so of course there is some kind of a twist. It is about a man who has at least 27 split personalities in his mind, all very different, all kind of vying for the spotlight, if you will, and they have sort of broken into factions, which sounds very strange, but one of the people inside of him kidnaps 3 young teenage girls in order to sacrifice them to the beast who will arrive soon. And there's sort of this weird, a few of his personalities are in this weird religious cult where they think the beast will save them. Anya Taylor-Joy is fantastic in this. Her character is just, she's really been beaten down. She's still a teenager, but she's had a very difficult life, but she's smart, she's resourceful, and she knows what she needs to do to survive. James McAvoy, if there's anyone who deserves an Oscar, I think it's James McAvoy. I think just because this isn't a drama movie, you know, he's never going to get an Oscar, but they needed to be looking at his acting skills in this. If you just watch his face, you can see when each personality comes through, and it's such small, subtle changes, but you absolutely believe that he is a tiny 10-year-old boy and he is this stately British woman, or he is this massive beast. And I love James McAvoy. I think he's great in everything he does, but this is one of his best performances, I think. Didn't really like Glass, the sequel to this. That was a bit naff, but Split, definitely good. On to a gothic movie. So this is The Woman in Black. Now I have the novel by Susan Hill here, but I didn't really like it very much. I'm not sure what it was about it. Just wasn't one of my favourite gothic stories, but the movie is really creepy. It's really unsettling. There are some great visuals. I would implore you to just watch the background. That's what I'm constantly doing when I watch horror movies, but the woman in black is there even when you think she's not there. And this is your classic gothic story. A guy has to go to this big abandoned manor in order to try and sort through this person's belongings and whatnot because they've just died. He's told by the locals that he shouldn't stay there at night, but he says, pshaw, I'll do it anyway, because he wants to get things done. But there are sightings of the black woman, and or the woman, not the black one, the woman in black. People say that when you see the woman in black, children are going to die, and there are some horrific accidents that happen to some of the children in the village. And it's creepy, it's really sinister, and I think it's a great gothic movie. I think this was the first time I started really taking Daniel Radcliffe seriously as an actor. Of course, I loved the Harry Potter movies and I loved him in those, but I think he's really progressed as an actor, and he did quite well in this, although it was weird to see him with a son. Because in your head he's always going to be Harry Potter. Next up is the first time that I saw John Boyega, and it is Attack the Block. So this is a very English movie, very British movie, but it's another cool sci-fi, and it is about a tower block. It is a block of flats in England, somewhere near London, I'm assuming, and the different groups of people that live there. There's drug dealers, there's groups of youths that live with various parents and grandparents and uncles and aunts and whatever, and they go about robbing people and doing things that gangs do, unfortunately. But creatures from outer space sort of land near this tower block, and as one might do, this gang of teenagers kill one of them because they don't know what it is, and it turns out to be the female, and soon the males start to arrive and they can smell the female off this group of youths, and they follow them into the building. And it's a great story of people from the entire block trying to sort of save their home. There's a great camaraderie there. Initially there's a lot of animosity between people, but then they realize they're all living in the same place, they all need to work together for this, and I think it's great. It's very British. I'm no insult to Americans or anything, but I feel like if this was made as an American movie, it would have been way too cheesy and way too trying to be cool, and there would have been like loads of sexy people and there would have been a love scene or some crap. But this is just straight up British teenagers beating the hell out of aliens. So absolutely fantastic. You should definitely watch it. Next up, I'm not a huge fan of found footage movies. I just think in order to get them to work, you have to suspend a lot of disbelief and you have to imagine people in horrific situations where they're fighting for their lives, but they're holding the camera steady and they're making sure it's in focus and it's on all the right things, and it just sort of ruins it for me. But this is one of the few exceptions of a found footage movie that I really liked. You can get this one on Netflix. It's called Creep, and it is definitely creepy. It is about a man who is hired to sort of follow this guy around for a few days and just film him talking because he's very sick, he's going to die, and he has a son on the way to being born, and he wants to leave something for his son so that his son can know him and learn some lessons from him before he dies. And Mark Duplass is the actor who plays the guy that he's filming, and he is so good at being a creep. He's so good at being just a little bit too close, just holding your eye for a little bit too long, just being a little bit too weird, just inching up to the line and making everything uncomfortable. And it has an ending that I definitely wasn't expecting. It's just really uncomfortable for the whole time, and if you're looking for something weird, something not your usual ghosts and monsters or even serial killers or anything, this is something to watch. And I would definitely recommend the sequel as well, Creep 2, because even though it's a sequel, I think it still totally works as its own movie and it is great as well. Although if you've seen the first one, it does ruin a little bit because you kind of know where it's going to go, but it still manages to take a twist that you wouldn't expect. So both of the Creep movies are great. Another Irish one for me, this was one that I think just came out this year, and it is a comedy horror. It is called Extraordinary, and it follows the story of this unfortunate woman who has some paranormal abilities. She can see ghosts, she can speak to them, she can get them out of your house if you need to. Her father was an exorcist and he died in his line of work while she was there, and since then she kind of feels that it was her fault. She doesn't want to use her powers because she thinks they just bring bad things, but she is compelled to help this man who she might have a little bit of a thing for, because the ghost of his wife won't leave his house, and she's an abusive ghost. She breaks things, she tries to smack him around a bit, but there's also a bizarre musician who comes to town and tries to summon a demon so that his next record will be a hit. It is odd, but it's very funny, it's really awkward and it's heartwarming. There's some really gross bits in it, but again, it's good fun, it's a bit of a laugh, and I think it was really well done, it was really well shot, and the acting is great as well. A few more on the list, but this one is one I watched recently, and it was one of the few on my Netflix that I hadn't seen before. It's called Look Away, and it has a really low rating from what I've seen, but I think it definitely deserves a lot more than that. It's not a fantastic movie, but it's got something to it. So it's about a young teenage girl who has an eating disorder. She's very, very thin, very small. She has a lot of self-esteem issues and confidence issues, and she begins to speak to the girl in the mirror, and the girl in the mirror starts to speak back, and she is a lot more straightforward. She's trying to sort of push this girl to take revenge on people and to stand up for herself and whatnot. Eventually she does switch places with the girl in the mirror, and obviously things go awry. This sort of turns her life upside down. This new person in her body starts doing things that she would never do, and seems to have an issue with the girl's father, who is a plastic surgeon. So this is, it's got a lot of sort of serious undertones that you wouldn't really expect from a movie like this. I thought the girl in the main role, I thought she did really well. Jason Isaacs is the father. You may know him from things like the OA or even Malfoy's father in Harry Potter. He's a great actor. He's American in this one, and it's just a look at just the way that she's being pulled from all directions. Her father's trying to push her to look better. He wants her to wear makeup. He offers to give her plastic surgery for her birthday because he thinks it will help, and it's just really messed up. She wants to be loved. She wants to have human interaction, but he just doesn't get that. And it's dark and it's cold, but you really fall for that character. So yeah, there's definitely something paranormal, supernatural about it, and there's also a dark secret behind the story as well. Next up is basically anything made by Jordan Peele. Get Out, Us. Super excited for the new Candyman movie, although he's not directing that one, he's just writing it. But both Get Out and Us are just so fantastic. They are real masterworks of the best way to tell a story and to see things in movies and stuff, and they really cry out for a rewatch as well. Second and third, you're always going to see something new, something fresh, something weird. Get Out, for me, I still, if somebody's making tea and they scrape the teaspoon around the side of the cup, it gives me chills, it freaks me out. And then Us is just batshit. It's terrifying to think of, and Lupita Nyong'o is fantastic, and he just has a great way of picking main characters or main actors that are just so compelling and have so much emotion in their faces, and you're absolutely with them the entire way. So absolutely love anything by Jordan Peele. Can't wait for Candyman to come out as well. Then we have The Devil's Doorway. This is also an exception to my found footage rule. This is a movie that was written and directed by Aisling Clarke, who is a Northern Irish director. This is based in Northern Ireland as well. It has real Irish people doing real accents, which is a godsend to me. I cannot stand hearing Americans trying to do Irish accents and just failing miserably. It is painful to me. But this is set in, I think, possibly 60s or 70s, I'm not sure, in a Magdalen laundry in Ireland. Obviously horrible place, but two priests have been asked to come, and the younger one is just filming for posterity. They're doing an investigation because they received an anonymous letter saying that there was a Virgin Mary crying blood, which is potentially a miracle for the Catholic Church, and they have to go and see if it is authentic or not. But it soon becomes very clear that they're not wanted there. The nuns do not want them there at all. They do not want them seeing what's going on there, which for anyone who knows anything about the Magdalen laundries is absolutely nothing good. I think the Catholic Church and what they've done with laundries like that, and just the way people were treated in Ireland especially, is horrific in itself. But this movie really puts another turn on it and really brings to the fore the sort of the sins of the people in charge of these places, and it's just a really creepy good movie. And I think the actual found footage part of it works for me in this, I have to say, so it's good. You should definitely watch it. And last up, I'm almost including this just because my sister and I keep arguing about it. I have accepted a long time ago that myself and my older sister have complete opposite ideas of movies. So if she likes something, I know there's no point in me watching it because I'm going to hate it. And if I like something, she knows there's no point in her watching it. But she asked for suggestions, so I suggested The Pretty Thing, I'm the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House, and she absolutely hated it and she did not get it. and she just won't. She's always trying to get me to explain to her why it's so good and why I like it, and she just doesn't seem to get why I like it. But it's the closest thing that a visual experience can be to reading like a literary book for me. So there is it's about a nurse who goes to stay and take care of this older woman who is sort of, I'm not sure if she has dementia or not, but she needs to be taken care of. She was a prolific writer, sort of Shirley Jackson-esque. She also has the coolest hair ever. And this nurse comes and she's to live there and sort of take care of the place and take care of the woman. And she's a very nervous person. She kind of does her best, but she is very afraid of reading this woman's books because she's heard of them before and they are quite scary, and some of them are supposedly set on real events. Strange things start to happen in the house, and the story is sort of narrated by this woman, and you get the sense that she's sort of looking back on her time in the house and she's sort of telling you what happened to her there. And it's a little bit slow paced, it's a little bit artsy, but nothing crazy. It's chilling, it's gothic, there's just something really compelling about it. I was enthralled the whole way through, and I was really there with her, and I really wanted to find out more about this writer and what she was writing and why she was writing it, and I really like it. So it is it's a ghost story, it's a gothic ghost story, and there are some really unsettling visuals in it as well, some very strange moments that really stick in your mind. So I absolutely love it. You can get it on Netflix. I would definitely watch it again. So that is my list of movies that I think everyone should watch. They are definitely great for the Halloween season, great for any season. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for anyone who has subscribed, liked, commented on any of my videos. Thank you for spending your time with me here, and I shall see you in the next video.